Hi guys, Alex here. Welcome back to today's video. Today I thought we could go ahead and do like a simpler video, kind of like a mini podcast situation type deal. I just had a few stories that I wanted to share with you guys in a less scripted format as we do on the Girl Talk videos. I have to say that yesterday's video was a lot. It ended up being kind of confusing in a way, but I know a lot of you guys have been around the block for a while. You've seen it all. So I'm sure for those people, it was easier to follow. But I understand if you got a little bit confused, if you don't know all of the ins and outs. But that's just how it goes, I guess, with 48 hours in the Shantopolis verse. It does get very confusing. Anyways, I just wanted to sit down and kind of talk about a couple of things I've been seeing on the internet. This is going to be more lighthearted. Well, some of it is, some of it isn't, right? You guys know when it comes to this community, how it can be. But our first story we're going to be talking about is a viral meme in regards to Nikocado Avocado. It's been a while since we've talked about him, but the other day I was scrolling Twitter as I do. I have to say, Twitter has taken up way too much of my time. Every now and again, I do delete the app just because it has become too time consuming. Like, it's really easy to just get stuck and be scrolling Twitter, looking at the news on Twitter and whatever debate is going on at that time. So you end up reading all of these toxic, a lot of it is toxic things over on the Twitter. So let's take a look at this meme. This is from an account called Insane Yearbook Quotes, and they just share quotes from yearbooks that that I guess people found funny or interesting in a way. I remember in my yearbook, this was like my freshman yearbook, looking at the seniors, and this one girl who was a senior, I don't think I'm going to share exactly what it was to you guys, but she was like going off in her yearbook quote, like all of you guys that had hurt me, and just like going off on those people. So she did not have a very good time in high school. It can get pretty wild sometimes. And that yearbook quote that she wrote, it went around the school for sure. People, she made a little mark, didn't she? Anyways, this is, of course, Nikocado Avocado, Nicholas Perry. What a respectable young man. I wonder what noble job he will pursue in the future. And take a look at this. I believe that Nikocado went to high school in Harrisburg, which is very close to where I live. And I had wondered if maybe I saw him on MySpace back in the day, because I think he's only 1 year older than me. So if he was in that kind of circle, you know, when you're in a small town or whatever you want to say, like Central PA is where I lived, you're going to know like a lot of the other LGBT people in the area, because it is just a smaller community versus something like, of course, New York City or even San Francisco, where they have such a culture, you know. But I always thought that maybe I knew Nikocado back in the day. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. Depends on if he had MySpace. If he had MySpace, then I definitely knew him. And his yearbook quote was, "When words fail, music speaks." Such a nice little quote there. I wonder what noble job he will pursue in the future. Of course, we all know what happened to Nikocado Avocado. A lot of the comments in the replies, they're sharing that one specific picture. I think some of you guys will know what I'm talking about. Some of you won't. But there was this one specific picture of Nick. His back is turned to the camera, and it's not suitable for YouTube. So let's just go over and look at Nicocado's page right now. He's doing the same old thing that you would expect him to do. He has been notably absent. Like, he's not posting as much, but this is his main channel. He's more active on More Nikocado, but even so, not very active. Not as much as he used to be. Look, 6 days ago, he ate $100 worth of McDonald's, and he was collabing with Oompaville recently. So that's kind of what he has been up to. He has been not posting as frequently. There was a time when he was doing a mukbang every single day. And I feel like in the past I had talked quite a bit more about Nikocado, but I've kind of like fallen off of that because nothing ever changes. Like there was that drama with Stephanie Sue, I remember in December to January 2020. And that was a lot. That was definitely a lot. I remember covering that whole thing and that situation, but he hasn't really been in that much drama recently, not at all. There was the interview with Oompaville. I think that's the most interesting thing that he has done recently. I think it is just wild watching Nikocado over the past few years and how he has let himself go completely just for fame and money. I know that's nothing new. That's not an original take, but it has been pretty wild. I still, he's one of those channels that I check in every now and again just to see, like, did something happen? All of this that he's putting his body through, eventually it's going to add up. And I do the same thing with Eugenia. I take a look at her channel every now and again to see where she is, and it never looks like she makes any progress either in regards to recovery. Of course, that's quite a different situation, but I never really got into Nikocado the way that I follow our girls because he's so fake. Like, and I know it's supposed to be fake and that's how it is, but regardless, it makes it a little bit less interesting for me. Okay, moving on to our next story. Someone tipped me off to this in my Twitter DMs. If you guys got a story or something, let me know. I'll be sure to look at it for sure. Or you can just at me publicly on Twitter, but I'm mostly available on Twitter versus I don't really use the other platforms, especially for YouTube. I just feel like Twitter is where it's at for YouTubers, unless you're like an Instagram model or something, but that's not me. We're going to be talking about Instagram models, speaking of, and this is an article from the eBaum's World. Now, trust me, do you guys remember this website? Do y'all remember this website, like eBaum's World? This was kind of big way, way, way back in the day. Trust me, guys, this has a point, and you're gonna know who this is about just in due time. So this is like one of those Instagram versus reality articles, 17 fake people who aren't fooling anyone online. You know, it kind of reminds me back in the day of like the makeup, no makeup, how they would do that in magazines growing up, and that became kind of problematic in a way. I mean, just the body shaming. If you look at some of these magazine covers from back in the day, like, dang, and you wonder why women have insecurities. And this kind of plays in that a little bit, but so here's just an example. She has no makeup, then she has makeup on, you know. But the reason that this was so interesting to me is that one reaction channel, Amberlynn Reaction Channel, was featured in this article. I'm sure you guys have figured it out by now, but here is the picture. And it is, of course, YDHB Sarah. If not for the tattoos, you wouldn't know they were the same. And it features an Instagram picture from YDHB, aka Sarah. I just found this to be pretty interesting that she is featured in articles in this way, if you want to call this an article. But also, I don't know, I'm not really a fan of her filter that she uses on Instagram. Like, everything looks very, very dark. She just adds this like darkening filter, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't, you can see it in this. It's almost hard to see what's going on. It's almost hard to see what's going on. When it comes to reaction channels in the Amberverse, I have seen quite a few videos, people talking about YDHB and how she represents kind of like the worst of the reaction community. I think there was a video from a woman called Anna Analysis, and she focused on kind of Amberlynn reaction channels and Sarah was the one that she kind of wanted to focus on the most. And there's that coconut oil rant that has been going viral for quite some time. I mean, as long as I have known Honey Bun, it seemed like there has been kind of scandal after scandal after scandal. And it kind of started off when she started off as a compilation channel, right? And that's how she got, I believe, most of her subscribers. I don't think that's unfair to say. Of course, compiling Amberlynn, and then she decided to use her face, and then that was kind of her first scandal, was becoming a reaction channel instead of just doing compilations, which for me, I mean, it's her channel. She can do what she wants. I don't really see too much of a problem with that, but that was kind of her first scandal or whatever. And then there was the merch that the merch she did about Amberlynn. The timing on that was just not the tea. So she had this merch with like a outline, like a drawing of Amberlynn. It wasn't a picture of Amberlynn, but it was like an original drawing of Amber using her disrespectful quote, right? And a lot of people took issue with that because it was using her likeness and her quote, and people just didn't think that was right for her to sell that and make money off of it. Some people liked it, some people didn't. And then, you know, a month after that, Amberlynn was diagnosed with cancer. So just the timing and everything involved. I mean, she couldn't have seen that coming, but sometimes things happen like this. The timing is just not very good. And the med school drama as well. I've never really gotten to the bottom of that completely. You guys can let me know if you have more information on the med school drama, but let's go ahead and move on from YDHB. I want to talk about Nader El-Shami. Now, I don't know if I want to include any footage of this because you guys know how YouTube can be, but I woke up this morning and people were passing around. There was videos, there was clips. This all happened last night, probably early in the morning. You know, you guys know how him and Didi are. They stay up all night long, right? Well, Mr. El-Shami. So he had the camera kind of pointed at him, at Didi, right? You know how they have Didi sitting on the couch and he sits on the couch with Chantal's iPad that she probably still pays for. They watch Chantal on the big screen TV while he looks at receipts on the iPad and the phone and everything. Like, that's just a little much for me, but, you know, especially with your loved one. Like, that's how you're spending your time with your loved one. I guess that's how you met. I guess you met through knowing Foodie Beauty. But anyways, the camera, it was supposed to be on Didi, and Nader did not think that he was in frame. And in the back, he was at the counter in the kitchen. You guys know her condo. It's kind of like one room and then a bedroom, right? So he had a pipe, and it was pretty clear that it was mathematics. Well, that is what everybody said on Twitter, and that's kind of what I had come to the conclusion what was going on. I mean, we recently talked about that video that came out, an alarming video that came out from Didi, and it looked like something was up with her. Like, it just didn't look normal, right? But Nader came on his community tab to kind of address this situation, saying that his phone was blowing up and, you know, people are always going to assume the worst of him. I wonder why, dude. I mean, look at what we have seen. Obviously, the SBL Sam's Lounge videos, they couldn't have been faked. That's what him and Didi, I think, still want us to believe, but it didn't look fake to me. I mean, the fact that someone was watching this go down live, like, so creepy. But yeah, I wonder why people are going to assume the absolute worst. It wouldn't have anything to do with the history that we have seen. He claims that this is MJ oil, 420 oil, right? But he's using a mathematics device. So at least that's what it looks like. Again, I'm not going to share a picture of it, but I will leave link down below a video from Marley Hendricks. I think that's the one going around that most people are looking at. And then he clarifies that 420 is legal and he's going to show his machine later, I guess, how he makes the oil. He ends it by saying, you see how one person says something and the entire community just believes it. YouTube life. Talk to you later, guys. But pretty much everyone that has seen this clip that wasn't supposed to be, like, most people, that's what they would believe. You have angel horns under here saying that she is reporting every channel that is talking about this and that it is, it's a shame that people are believing it. I mean, this is what we have seen. We can only guess based on, or speculate based on what we have seen. What else do you expect people to think that this is? That is not very usual. I've never seen it before. And, I've been around circles and things like that. This is something that I'm very empathetic, very passionate about. And it is like a huge problem right now in the United States and Canada too. Sometimes I almost forget that they're in Canada, but what else would you expect people to believe that it is? I mean, we've seen Dee Dee. You guys are up all hours of the night. It just makes sense. And Chantal in the past talked about how that was on the floor and how she tried that with him. And there was the pipe, there was the burn on her lip that people had suspected was something of that nature. And here we are again. Like, it just feels like he's just kind of lying. It's the same thing with Chantal. I mean, she'll come up with the perfect excuse. Oh, how could we tell otherwise? Well, I'm just not buying it anymore. I'm just not buying it. It makes complete sense. And that is what I believe is going on here. I don't think that he should be doing that, obviously. I don't really have experience with that in particular, but it only leads to the same things. I mean, you wonder why he has committed so many crimes. This is probably why, because he does this, and it's probably something that he's been doing for quite a while, and it makes you do crazy things. That's why he's committed a lot of crimes, in my opinion. Now, I can't say for sure. We don't have any tests to give him. So that's what I have seen. That's my conclusion, what I get from that. So there was a new community tab post from Debbie Ann. Let me bring that up here. Dee Dee Lulu. She made another community tab post. I posted this on my Twitter account and asked you guys if you believe Dee Dee. And in this community tab, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I've kind of shied away from reading the whole community tab for like several reasons during my girl talk videos. The first one is that it just takes a little too much time. So I feel like summarizing it is just saving everybody's time and not wasting everybody's time by just reading these community tabs out loud. And also some of them in regards to Chantal specifically, you have to go and edit out a lot of the words because she is not very shy on her community tab, if you know what I mean. But Dee Dee said yesterday that she notices some reaction channels, specifically Yo Mama and Garlic Bread, because she has them tagged in the post down below, or at least hashtagged. She notices that the reaction channels are insinuating that Nader and Chantal are in cahoots. That was the whole Yo Mama drama that we talked about yesterday. And Dee Dee assures us that Nader has not spoken to Chantal since last summer. So I'm wondering, does that go all the way to September something? Isn't fall like September 21st or 3rd or something like that? Probably. Probably. I mean, it just doesn't add up. Wasn't she called out for talking to Nader like right before she went to Kuwait or something like that? I mean, that would put us in October, which wouldn't be last summer, but maybe Dee Dee's stretching the definition of summer here. I don't know. Could be one of those situations. But yeah, she says that she's not her and Nader are not working together with Chantal, and they're not speaking behind the scenes, and there's no way that they're orchestrating this. Now, I feel like that became a little confusing on yesterday's Girl Talk because I did kind of go back and forth on that. My belief, my current belief is in regards to faking drama, they did at one point, like after Cuba Rage, right? Her and Nader were in cahoots because they weren't supposed to be seeing each other based on law. So she had to lie to the internet in order for him to not get in trouble because people would contact. You guys know how that goes. So her and Nader were canoodling behind the scenes, and there was even that screenshot that came out where Nader told her to pretend you're mad at me or something like that. And that is just what they were doing at the time so that people wouldn't believe that they were together. But everyone still believed that they were together. There was just like not 100% truth, except for when that one person called the Motel Adam and they knew that Chantal was there. And I don't know if they figured out Nader was there or not, but that was a drama from like last year when she was at the Motel Adam, and the screenshots came out basically saying that Chantal paid for the entire thing and told everyone that he paid half, but also weren't they lying? I don't know, that also throws a wrench in it, right? Because I guess everybody found out that they were together. If all that came out and all that proof, is there anything that could happen? No, I don't think that they probably wouldn't pursue that, especially because she ended up dropping the charges. All right, you guys, I don't know what this video is. I'm just kind of bored today and thought we could just sit down and talk for a little bit. I didn't feel like writing up a whole script, so maybe a little bit of laziness and boredom all wrapped into one. But it is kind of like an idea I had for a while to just kind of sit down and talk about a few topics. If you guys have any stories that are like Girl World or Girl World adjacent, you can always find me over on Twitter. Let me know what you guys think, and I will, of course, catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.